another beautiful rainy day in Grey County. We're out today. We're going to harvest some fiddleheads. They're also known as ostrich ferns, and they grow in crowns like this. As you can see around here, we're just in basically a forest of ferns. My name's Shawn Adler. I'm the chef and owner of Powwow Cafe and the Flying Chestnut Kitchen. So today we're harvesting fiddleheads. There's three very important rules to follow. 1, bring a knowledgeable guide. Number 2, have permission to use the land. And number 3, very important, sustainably harvest. And the way that they propagate themselves is 2 ways. They send out roots. The other way is that they grow up and there's spores on these fronds. So this is last year's growth. And then they propagate themselves that way as well. When harvesting fiddleheads, you never want to harvest more than half of a cluster. I don't even harvest that many. And you want to look for tightly wound curl. The way you tell it's a fiddlehead is that they have this deep groove here, this U-shaped stem, and they're always covered in this parchment-like paper, which is inedible, and you clean that off before you eat it. Fiddlehead ferns, it's very important that you get them when they're very tightly coiled. Once they unfurl, they're actually poisonous. So I want to discuss 2 different stages of growth. This stage here is like the perfect stage where the frond is not unfurled. It's beautiful. Whereas here you can see how long they are, and they're already ready to unfurl and become a fern. So at this point, they're not edible. At this point here, they're perfect. They're really nice and tight. They're edible. You want to cook them very well. I recommend you boil them for 10 minutes in rapidly boiling water. Fiddleheads are a delicious spring edible. They originate along the eastern seaboard of the US and Canada and span into Quebec and Ontario. But fiddleheads are actually eaten in India and China, and they grow in similar temperate locations like this. They taste slightly reminiscent of asparagus. You can roast them, you can cook them and add them to pasta, serve them as a side with a beautiful steak. Fiddleheads are a really versatile ingredient, and it's a great wild edible in the spring to forage, easily identifiable. Here's how to make fiddlehead tempura. First, take your fiddleheads and wash them in cold water. Next, blanch them in a pot of boiling water. Shock them in ice water. To a bowl, add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, salt and pepper, and 1 egg. Combine with approximately 1 pint of your favorite Pilsner. Batter your fiddleheads. Carefully place them in a pot of hot oil at 350 degrees. Fry them until crisp and golden. Season with salt and enjoy. You've got to really appreciate the fact that it's a short window of opportunity to go out and forage for them. Regardless of the weather, you got to get out there, go for a hike, go to the hardwood bush and the wet areas, appreciate the outdoors, and harvest sustainably.